Good morning, teachers and my dear friends. Today, me and my group are going to present our AIL for our English project. We have Pritika Parsai, Bhakti Mittal, Anand Singh, and Ishi Verma working together on this project. We hope to deliver a beautiful message for this amazing mythical narrative of the late tree, of how easily things can be misunderstood and how a blessing could gradually turn into a curse.
Oh, what a busy day it has been, I tell you. Wow, my phone always has some good news for me. Yes, I got a new follower on Facebook. I tell you, you put these cooking recipes and you always get some new followers. What? Government has banned PUBG? Damn! I'll never be able to get my chicken dinner now. It was a very busy and tiring day, I tell you. First, I had to stop that stupid old lady who was plucking my flowers. Beautiful flowers which I had grown with my own hands. Then, that Sharma ji's son. He was playing drums all the day. I could not even get one moment of peace. I wanted to sleep, but no, he has to play his drums that time only. All these new children think they can become musicians only by playing sticks on the drum. I even got late for my kitty party, you know. It was all because of my daughter-in-law. That Mrs. Dubiji got the early bird prize. My daughter-in-law, don't get me started off on her. She will not do a single task. Just sit and chat and talk. And do what not rubbish like TikTok and stuff. I'm glad it got banned. I don't know what my son saw in her. Let me go and see what my loving grandson is doing. He's the only sensible person in the house. Obviously, after me. Oh, sweetheart, why haven't you gone to sleep yet? Isn't it your school tomorrow?
Arey Akka, how can I go to sleep when there is a workload of assignments?
Oh, son, I feel so sorry for you. As all my Dadi Nani kahanis are over, let me tell you a folk tale, and I'm sure you'll instantly fall in love with it.
There stood in the middle of the most fertile land in all of the world. It was the most gigantic tree, more so than you could imagine. It stood above all and every, in all its might, the longest and the strongest tree. People from all around the world used to visit it, some to believe the truth, and others to pay the respect, for it was known that the tree was protected and guided by mystical powers. We prayed to it, used to consider it our deity.
But then what happened had us reconsider our beliefs. It had been years since people had last visited the lake tree. All of our beliefs turned into dust when the boon for all of humanity was actually a bane in disguise. The lake tree turned the rest of the land barren. Savage beasts roamed the land which once used to be worshipped for its fertility. Humanity suffered because of it for countless new moons, until it was finally decided to confront the issue rather than sitting hand on hand. The best and the most influential of woodcutters decided to conduct an overlook, for Darbar was organized to look into this.
There was no other way. The darbar that was held saw only one solution to this plight: to cut the late tree. Being one of the best woodcutters in all of the land, I knew that I would also be counted among the ones chosen for fulfilling this deed. The darbar was held around 2 nights back. There were a group of 14 people, the strongest and the most talented woodcutters in all of the land.
Today was the first day for us to stumble in the barren land, to remove this dilemma from wiping all of humanity, for once and for all. We took off on our journey with our axes in our hands and determination in our minds. After 2 hours of walking, we reached the lay tree. What we saw before us was enough for hassling us, for the land we once saw as a gift from our gods was now ruined. The sky was grey and dark. The ground was so barren that cracks were visible. Some of us started to look around, aghast, unable to believe the view before us. After a few minutes, we took off again. The lychee was so enormous that it would take at least one new moon to erase it from existence. We started working, swinging our axes on the bark of the tree, focused to finishing for the day as soon as possible, to steer clear of the ruthless beasts that roamed around. All of us started gashing at the bark, but what stunned us all was that even after tiring ourselves, the tree only had a little slash. Rumors started brewing that the tree was protected by a foreign power. I shut them down, saying that if it was possible, we wouldn't have been able to affect it this much either. Then, just as soon as we came, the sooner it was time for us to leave. We weren't able to have much success. All it looked like was a little slash in the bark. Tired, we left for the night. On our way back, superstitious claims spread. Majority of us started talking about the possibility of the tree being protected by a mystical power. The next day arrived as soon as yesterday left. We gathered in the town, ready to start from where we left off yesterday. The moment we arrived, I would be lying if I said I wasn't completely flabbergasted. The tree looked exactly as it did yesterday, except for all the gashes and the slashes were healed, as if there was no recollection of our exhausting work from the day before. The best of us started looking around for explanations, while the rest started stressing on how we would upset the power protecting the tree if we were to repeat yesterday's actions. Frustrated, I put my head in my hands, wishing for some sort of clue for as to why this happened. The rest of us seemed to have lost all hope. We were sitting in a circle, with our faces downcasted. Among all of the chaos whirling inside our minds, we watched as the smallest of the birds fluttered towards us, chirping as it introduced itself as Kafriat.
They need to know. I sighed and flew towards one of the branches of the enormous lay tree. The woodcutters were discouraged and spiritless. I've come to help you accomplish the task you have been entrusted with. Don't lose your hope. I called out to them, but the response that came around startled me. They began laughing, but I knew that doesn't matter. This isn't about me or them. This is something beyond any of us. This tree will end up destroying everything in its proximity. I continued. It's true that I'm the smallest of the birds, but that hasn't hindered me from learning the secrets of this forest. This tree isn't protected by any divine spirit. It was Yukla, the big tiger who heals this tree every night.
That seemed to catch our attention. Some looked towards the bird in shock. I asked her, Why? Why is he healing the tree? What good would it do him? To which the little grey bird replied, I remember the first time I saw Ukla. It looked as if he was about to die. He came to the lay tree in order to hunt for his food. He stalked towards the prey in the dark blanket provided to him by the shade of this humongous tree. So this is the reason the tree was found healed in the morning, I thought to myself.
Hooray! Cheered the crowd, somewhat relieved it wasn't because of the supernatural entity the tree healed. After the gloomy atmosphere was turned into a happy and cheery one, we devised a plan for misguiding the tiger, for removing this vein once and for all.
When the woodcutter came to cut the lay tree, I was shaken to my roots, as the lay tree was my abode. Its shadow made it possible for me to prowl for my prey in safety. If it wasn't there, then how would I hunt and fill my stomach? If I will not have anything to eat, then I would die. People will then tell their children that once there was a tiger, a big tiger, who could not even hunt. He starved and died. I cannot let people think of me as a tiger who is weak and could not do anything. Tigers are meant to be the symbol of bravery. I did not know what to do or how to react when I heard this news of the tree being cut. This thought kept me awake at night. But then I remembered then when I was young, my mother taught me the secret of the forest. It was the answer to all my problems. The next day, the woodcutters came to destroy my only source of survival. In the blanket of the cold, dark night, I went back to the tree which keeps me alive. I hoped to heal it. I slowly stalked towards the tree, wanting to heal it so as to keep the woodsmen thinking it was just one of the might gods. Then, that they would finally stop trying to cut my sole reason of continuance. Just as I was tracing the slash in the bark of the tree, I felt an unworldly pain course through me. My mouth had a sneering pain, and it felt like life was being drained out of me. So I did the only thing I knew. I ran.
Huzzah! Cheers went all around us. After all, we had just defeated the mighty old Ukla. Our plan had worked. It was quite simple if you ask me. All that had to be done was to hide our sharpened axes in the gash we created during the day, so that the tiger wouldn't ever think of doing something of such extent again. I watched as the tongue of the tiger fell on the ground. I watched as he ran away with a trail of blood drooping from his mouth. I watched him until he was engulfed by the darkness of the night. I turned towards the little grey bird, the savior for all of humankind. Your contribution will forever be remembered. Tales and folklores would linger in the air of how a little Kafriyat saved humankind. I looked at the bird as she nodded and chirped before flying away. Oh, who would have thought that the smallest of the animals would be able to liberate our lives?
We would like to thank Rosemary ma'am for this wonderful opportunity to present our ideas, and we learned a lot of things from the myths and legends of the magnificent Meghalaya.
I was devastated. Tonight, a guiltless tiger had to endure the pain which he didn't deserve. He was right in his way. I sighed to myself, but it had to be done for the sake of the greater good.